Welcome to another episode of Swill and Grog's Wonderful World of Beer. Once again, I'm joined by my fellow Aussie beer reviewer, Jez, and tonight we'll be reviewing Sierra Nevada Optimum Whole Cone Imperial IPA, a whopping 10.4% alcohol by volume. Now, this is brewed and bottled by the Sierra Nevada Brewing Company of Chico, California, in the United States. So, what more can you tell us about this beer, Jez?
Okay, Swill and Grog, this beer is 100 IBU, so anyone who knows beer, that is very strong. Your typical, say, Budweiser is barely 10 IBU, so the bitterness is strong. Like you said, it's an Imperial IPA, so there's a lot of different hops used. I think the bittering they use German Magnum, they use for like Citra, Chinook hops. The malts they use Two Row Pale, Golden Promise, and Munich and Wheat. So, a couple of different malts there. And
quite a recipe.
With those hops and then Imperial, it's pretty exciting to see how it turns out in the glass.
All right, well, I guess it's high time that we got stuck into it, Jez. So grab the trusty BB Barfly bottle opener and pop off the cap. And we'll have a closer look at that cap. It's quite an impressive one, actually. Just hopefully the camera focuses on that. But yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice cap for sure.
Yeah, an actual hop head on the cap.
There's a fair bit. You look in your bottle. There's a fair bit of smoke sitting in there. I imagine this would be bottle condition, being Sierra Nevada, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Anyway, I shall pour it out into this tulip glass. Okay.
Just using a midi glass today.
Nice.
Something simple.
All right. Well, as expected, the appearance is, a hazy amber color with what appears to be a moderate amount of carbonation, and I've got about a finger of off-white head there.
Yep.
Yours looks pretty much the same colour-wise.
Yeah, look, there's no sediment mixed in this half.
No.
If I can get for a bit more, I might try and mix the sediment up, put it in there. But it's a bit like a home brew when you don't mix the sediment up. Bit of haze, but it's still pretty clear. Clearer than I expected, that's for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess we should move on to the aroma. Well, as expected, I mean, it's, very strong smell of, citrusy, flowery, sort of grassy hops there. It's very sweet smelling too, I have to say. I'm surprised by just how, kind of sweet smelling it is.
I feel like a caramel coming through.
Yeah, there's definitely some caramels that are coming through there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's, definitely a very, appealing aroma without a doubt. Yeah.
And a nice looking beer to go with it as well. I wasn't expecting this colour, so.
No, I wasn't either. Like, I was expecting it to be, well, a lot darker and much hazier.
Yeah, me too. No, it looks good.
Well, I guess it's time for the taste test.
Yep.
Cheers to you, Jez.
Cheers, you, SG.
All right, let's get stuck into this.
Let's go slow.
I would expect it's a sipper. Wow. Now that is bitter. That is extremely bitter.
Yeah, it's like saying big bitter kick over. Citrus and the bitterness kicks in, a bit like that Tower 10 IPA we tried that time, but.
Yeah, but definitely like that Tower 10 IPA on steroids. Like the bitterness is just, wow. It's overwhelming. Like, yeah.
It makes the Torpedo IPA seem pretty tame.
It does, actually. It really does make the Torpedo seem pretty tame. Let's have another sip. I'm starting to sort of pick up that caramel there now as well. It's definitely got a pretty strong malt backbone, but yeah, still the hops are pretty much the dominant, flavour here, as to be expected. But yeah, I'm finding it surprisingly drinkable. Like, although I would go as far as saying I think I would only, be capable of drinking one, maybe two of these.
Glass of water in between.
With a glass of water in between. Oh, this bitterness is really something. Like, I think, it really is a case of you having to try it to really, understand, what we're getting at. But gee whiz, it is just so bitter. Yeah. What would you say in terms of its, drinkability? Obviously it's not, the most drinkable and certainly not, overly sessionable, but I think it's surprisingly, like, drinkable. I think it's not one you really have to kind of just, savor, like, very slowly. Like, I think, yeah,
it's got a refreshment quality to it.
It definitely has you're right, a very refreshing sort of quality to it, yeah.
I am feeling the alcohol, though. Like, I am getting a lot of warmth, like, really going down in the throat. Like, that's one thing I've noticed, the alcohol. But you're not really tasting alcohol, but you're feeling the warmth.
No, the alcohol presence is definitely there, yeah. That warmth, yeah.
Yeah, with the kind, it's like a syrupy kind of body. So, such a full-bodied beer, I think, drinkability for me would be one. And drink it slow, don't drink too quick. So it's starting to get me a little bit already. I've only taken a few sips. It's just like,
yeah,
it's pretty like for average Joe. I wouldn't recommend going near it. But yeah, it's definitely one to try. It's if you're watching this beer review, I imagine you'd want to give it a try. So.
Yeah, I think anyone watching this review would be wanting to give it a try. I think that's a pretty fair assumption. But, certainly for your average, Joe Blow, it's, something that you probably wouldn't, like, want to hand them. I think they'd just be completely, like, overwhelmed by just how, bitter it is for a start. Yeah, the alcohol, the ABV of it, the alcohol presence is just, like really, incredibly high for a beer. So, certainly not really certainly not, a session beer in any way, shape or form. It's, fairly drinkable, I think, for what it is. It surprises me, that's not more like, I'm just really taking very small, slow sips of it and, just savoring it. Like, you can take a nice gulp because it is, like you say, very refreshing. Anyway, I think we'll have another sip and give it a score out of 10. Or, you can obviously grade it from A to E, as you do. All right, well, it's certainly a very, big, bold, impressive brew. Hasn't really disappointed me in any way. It's probably better than what I expected, actually. It's very bitter, but not in a way that you're just gagging. I was kind of half expecting that. So look, I would probably be happy to give this a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, that's fair assessment. Yeah, I had a look on Rate Beer quickly just to give me an idea what it scored, and I think that's a phone. I got a Rate Beer, had a look. I think it got about 98 overall, which is a very good score. The beer is pretty much what I expected a Imperial IPA would taste like. I'll have to give it an A+. It's my first Imperial IPA, but Sierra Nevada's pretty good. And,
they do make some very solid brews, without a doubt. Yeah,
it's a beer you respect. You know what I mean? It's a good beer, and A+. If you're into your craft beers, give it a go.
All right, well, I guess we'll wrap this up, and I guess I must thank you firstly for joining for this review.
No, thank you for sending me this bottle, SG. Excellent.
It was my pleasure. So anyway, until next time, fare thee well, all.
See yous.